Hi, I'm Karla Figueroa here at the admin building, and we're here to watch the press conference to talk about Pennsylvania's urban schools and the equitable funding.
So this is a call to action because here in Norris Center School District, we believe and we've been told that we are underfunded.
Pennsylvania has a historically inequitable funding system for education. Our Constitution actually requires a fair and equitable funding of education, and we literally do 180-degree opposite that.
The amount of money that the school district was getting from the state in 1999, 20 years ago, and how that number has not changed in 20 years.
This affects the students' ability to have the same opportunities as other school districts, because when we talk about the money that we're sending to Harrisburg, that same amount is not coming back to districts in southeastern Pennsylvania, particularly here in Montgomery County and Norristown.
And what the Stanford report showed is that students that attend cyber charter schools, because all of their learning is self-paced, where the students are basically here are the assignments to do, and it's kind of up to you whether you do them or not. And what the Stanford report found was that students who attend cyber charter schools lose, on average, over 100 days of instruction in mathematics and reading every single year.
That money is not being accounted for. If it only takes $6,000 for a public school to send a student to a cyber school that we've created on our own, but it costs $13,000 to send them to a private run cyber school, then that money is going to somebody's pockets.
Those are missed opportunities to be able to hire more teachers, to be able to provide more resources in the classroom, and to make sure that we have adequate facilities for our students to learn.
For every special education student, there's $34,000 goes to the charter school for them, but only approximately about 13% of that, $13,000 goes towards an actual student.
In cyber charter schools on roughly half of their educational opportunities a year. So to me, that's significant because we're giving them a full dollar amount. We give them a full tuition amount to educate them for a year, and students are only getting about half of the math and reading instruction and half of the math and reading learning in a year that they should.
And therefore, the burden is passed on to our taxpayers, who then wonder why they have to pay so much in school taxes. So that's where it all hit home for me, where I started to realize how unfair the funding from the state actually is.
We've been told that there's about $13 million that we should be receiving from the Commonwealth to help educate children that we're not receiving.
Teachers are expected to do more with less, and our teachers do, frankly, an amazing job doing more with less. But generation after generation, to underfund these schools in this way is just unfair. It shortchanges our kids in terms of class size, in terms of opportunities, in terms of resources. It's just not acceptable.
Now, let's call it what it is. This is an advanced form of 20th century segregation.
So you can imagine if we don't have $13 million, that potentially means less teachers, less programs, less supports, less activities, and that's not fair. It's not fair that our students should have less than what other districts have just because their local taxes can generate that.
Upper Darby, Norristown, I referenced Allentown, Scranton. There are school districts like Norristown throughout the Commonwealth that suffer severe underfunding, and it is simply unacceptable to continue to allow this to happen. We deserve better for our kids, and we need to make sure that that happens.
It's suspicious because in public schools you have to be certified in order to be a public school teacher. You have to take certification classes, you have to get a degree and pass certain tests to be able to do that. You also, and most places, have to be highly qualified if you teach students who take standardized testing. Whereas in cyber charter schools or charter schools, only a certain small percentage of those teachers have to be certified.
We need our families, we need our taxpayers, we need our parents, we need our students to reach out to all of our legislators to tell them that we need funding reform, we need it now, because this is about every child, and every day we lose is a day we don't get back in that child's life.
But the reality is, when parents, when moms, when dads, when the Home and School Association, when our teachers, when folks like Dr. Dormer, who have dedicated their lives to educating kids, when they're out in the front, I don't think they can be denied. I don't think the politicians rightfully can ignore them. This isn't a political issue. There's a moral dynamic to this. There's a moral dimension to this. And it's simply unconscionable to allow these inequities to exist in school districts across Pennsylvania.